The following video may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. St. Charles, Illinois. Anjum Coughlin met Randall Coughlin when she was 17. At age 18, she left her home to live with him. This led her family to disowning her. When she turned 28, she was pregnant with Brittany and Tiffany. As their daughters grew up, Randall and Anjum's marriage became strained. Anjum even asked Randall for a divorce, but the whole family was dependent on Randall. Anjum had a side job, but it was not enough to survive on. She states that Randall's personality changed over time. It changed because he got an ego. He was taking care of us all. Everyone listens to him in his house. I couldn't do anything without asking him. He just got a chip on his shoulder, and it got worse and worse. The couple even resorted to therapy to no avail. Then in 2015, Randall was diagnosed with depression. He opened up to his therapist about his mother and grandmother's psychiatric histories. He was prescribed antidepressants. On July 8, 2015, Randall was issued with a firearms owner identification card by the Illinois State Police. He gave up his medications soon after. Eventually, the Coughlins decided to legally separate and live apart. Randall lived in a luxury condominium with Brittany and Tiffany, while Anjum moved to a one-bedroom condominium nearby. They explained to their children that Mom and Dad are just not working out. Anjum felt like her daughters should continue to live with their father as they were more comfortable in that apartment. Then on February 8, 2017, the police responded to a domestic incident involving the Coughlins. Anjum called 911 because she wanted to retrieve her work computer from Randall's home, but was afraid. They had gotten into an argument and Randall had broken Anjum's phone and driven off in her car. St. Charles police have refused to comment on the incident. What is known from the filed reports is that no arrests were made and nothing physical happened. Furthermore, Randall and Anjum were in Del Nor Hospital the following day. This is when Anjum informed the police that she had moved out. Later that month, Randall purchased a 9mm Smith & Wesson handgun. Around this time, Randy found an old bottle of antidepressants and, according to Anjum, began to take 2 or 3 pills a day. He was heavily drinking in this period as well. He had already been diagnosed with a major depression disorder on February 21, 2017, and had been prescribed venlafaxine. On March 1, 2017, 1 week after receiving a new prescription, he called his doctor to complain that his medication was ineffective. The doctor increased his dosage. 2 days later, he removed his daughters as beneficiaries from his life insurance policy. On March 5th, Randall purchased a second handgun. March 10th, 2017. In the morning, Randy sent Anjum a message telling her, "I have secrets too," and if she wanted to know more, she should come by his apartment. He would not tell her anything more until she paid him a visit. She entered Randy's apartment at 5 p.m. and saw that her daughter Brittany, who had turned away from her, was frozen still on the couch, supposedly watching Friends on TV. Anjum walked to the kitchen to collect some paperwork and turned around to find Randy pointing a gun at her. He told her, "They're already dead." He then shot her in the leg.
911.
I just shot and killed the kids, and I shot my wife.
What address
I'm going to
you
shoot myself now.
Sir, what address you at?
What?
What address you at?
450 South First Street, St. Charles, Unit 406. I'm going to kill myself now, too.
Sir,
my
sir,
two girls
sir,
are dead, and I'm killing myself.
Sir. All right, so 450 South First Street in St. Charles? Sir, stay on the line with me. 911, do you have an emergency?
Yes, I do. I'm at Sorry, 450 South First Street. We did an ambulance for unit 406.
Okay, yeah, we already got on the way. What's going on?
She said her girls are dead.
Okay.
Something happened.
Is she injured at all?
She's not injured. She's not injured.
What unit are you in?
She's sitting on the floor. I'm in unit 405. She's in 406.
All right, just make sure you lock the door and get into a safe place.
Me? Okay. And then someone's coming right away?
They're already on the way.
Okay.
Stay on the line with me, okay?
Okay.
Who is this person?
Coming right now.
Who is this person?
Someone's coming right now.
Who is this person? Do we know?
Oh, my gosh. I think it's the mother.
The mother.
I think it's the mother, and she's sitting in a pool of blood. I can see blood coming out from behind her.
But she's not injured?
She doesn't seem injured. She's just sitting down.
Did she say who did this, ma'am?
She said her girls are dead.
One
She's
second.
saying my girls are dead.
1 second, please. Stay on the line, though. All right, ma'am, has anything changed at all?
No, she's, the mother's just sitting in the...
I know it's a very stressful situation, but just keep her as calm as you can. We have police pulling up right now, and the paramedics will be there shortly thereafter. I have to put you on hold, though, okay?
All right.
Ma'am?
Yes?
Are the officers with you or no?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Try to stay calm. Where were you shot? In your foot? She was shot in her foot or her leg.
The one from 405 is shot in the
Stay still. Stay still as you can. Stay as still as you can. Try to just breathe. Just take a breath in and out.
All right, ma'am. I want you. I want you to, if you can, put a clean cloth over the wound, apply direct pressure to it, and just keep it elevated as much as possible. Okay.
Okay.
But
all right.
I just want to confirm, though. No, you guys are safe at the moment in Unit 405, correct?
No, I'm in Unit 406. She's in Unit 406.
But you guys.
I'm in her unit right now.
Oh, you're in 406?
Yeah, the police are here.
Okay, I'll let you go through with them.
Sorry.
The police arrived to find Anjum bleeding in the apartment. Her daughters Brittany and Tiffany had died from gunshot wounds to the head, and Randall had committed suicide. Anjum was treated for her wounds at the hospital. During this time, she spoke to friends and police and said that Randall had visited her and asked if they could get back together, but she had insisted on divorce. According to a St. Charles police report, Randall had also talked about killing the twins and himself, but Anjum never thought he was serious about it. Although Randall had wishes of being cremated, Anjum had him buried next to their daughters. She has said that she wants him to be next to their daughters so he can tell them what he did. Perez, California. David Allen Turpin and Louise Ann Turpin first met when David was 17 and Louise was 10. Mike Gilbert, who attended school with David, described him as nerdy, a quiet guy and very intelligent. Louise's sister had spoken about Louise's upbringing, stating that she had been sold to a wealthy pedo and later became obsessed with witchcraft, satanic rituals, and Ouija boards. 6 years after meeting, David and Louise eloped, although there are reports suggesting that David may have kidnapped Louise. Between July 1988 and March 2015, the couple had 13 children, 10 daughters and 3 sons. They were strict adherents to the Quiverful movement, meaning they believed their children were a blessing from God. According to David's parents, this is why they kept on having children, because God called on them to do so. Louise's sister has commented on how strict David and Louise's parenting style was. She has stated that the children had to ask permission to go to the bathroom and to eat. At that time, David and Louise had 4 children and lived in Fort Worth, Texas. By 1998, David and Louise had 6 children and had run into financial troubles due to gambling. They filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and the bank foreclosed on their house. The new owners were horrified at the state of the house. There was an appalling odor and the walls were streaked with dark stains that looked like feces. Meanwhile, the family had moved into a house in Rio Vista, Texas, where they resorted to physical violence in the treatment of their children for the next 10 years. In this time, the children were not even allowed to shower more than once a year. None of the children went to school and they became stunted due to malnourishment. After the couple had their 11th child in 2006, they moved into an apartment and left their children in a trailer, taking with them only the two youngest who were babies. David visited the children to drop off frozen food, but Luis never visited. For 4 years they lived this way, with the oldest siblings being instructed to lock the younger siblings in cages should they break any rules. In July 2010, the Turpins moved to Perez, California, where they continued to detain and torture their children. After they moved, neighbors visited the property and were shocked by what they found. There was feces everywhere. The beds had ropes tied to them, and there was several dead cats and dogs in the trailer as well. Finally, on January 14, 2018, 2 of the children escaped from the house. One of the escapees, 17-year-old Jordan, was in possession of a cell phone and was able to dial 911.
911, state your emergency.
No, yes, I'm still here.
What's your name?
Jordan Turpin. I've never been out. I don't go out much, so I don't know anything about the streets or anything. Okay, I live in a family of 15 people, and my parents are abusing. They abuse us, and my 2 little sisters right now are chained up. There's 13 kids, and then a mother and father.
And how many of your siblings are tied up?
2 of my sisters, 1 of my brothers.
How are they tied up, with rope or with what?
With chains. They're chained up to their bed.
Do you think anybody in the house will need to go to the hospital?
I'm not sure. Sometimes we live in stilts, and sometimes I wake up and I can't breathe because how dirty the house is.
When was the last time you had a bath?
I don't know, almost a year ago. But sometimes I feel so dirty. I wash my face and I wash my hair.
Does anybody at the house take any kind of medication?
Oh, I don't know what medication is.
Are you
What?
homeschooled?
No, we don't do school. Our mother tells people we'll homeschool. Our mother tells people we're private schools, and she has a fake private school set up. But we don't really do school. I haven't finished first grade, and I'm 17. I don't know much about my mother. She doesn't like us. She doesn't spend time with us ever. Hi.
Is that the deputy?
Yes.
Go talk to him, okay?
In the court proceedings that followed, the prosecutors revealed more horrifying details. The siblings were repeatedly beaten and strangled, and they were chained for months at a time. It was also revealed that Jordan had been planning her escape for more than 2 years. When the children were found, they were all severely malnourished, apart from the toddler. The oldest victim, aged 29, weighed a measly 82 pounds. The Riverside County Sheriffs described the residence where the siblings were held captive as dark and foul-smelling. The residence has been called the House of Horrors in the media. These revelations were shocking to say the least. According to one of Luis's sisters, the Turpins upheld the image of being a happy family for a long time, mainly through posting family pictures on their Facebook pages. An Elvis impersonator who renewed the couple's vows in 2015 in the presence of the children said he was shocked to hear the news of what the couple had done to the children. What's more is that the oldest daughter had in fact escaped the trailer that the children lived in prior to moving to California. But without a basic education or any idea how to navigate the world around her, she ended up contacting Luis, who picked her up and took her back home. Neighbors have noted that after their daughter was retrieved by Luis, the family disappeared soon after. Finally, on the 22nd of February 2019, David and Luis both pleaded guilty to 1 count of torture, 3 counts of willful child cruelty, 4 counts of false imprisonment, and 6 counts of cruelty to an adult dependent. They were both sentenced to life imprisonment. As of 2020, David is incarcerated at California State Prison, and Luis is incarcerated at Central California Women's Facility. In April of 2020, it was revealed that some of the children are living independently, living in their own apartment and have jobs and are going to school. Some volunteer in the community, and they go to church. Audubon, New Jersey, January 3, 2020. Jerry Pastor was the 57-year-old owner of the Shamrock Deli, a sandwich shop in New Jersey. He had spent 4 decades working in the restaurant industry and was a trained chef. In 2018, he finally fulfilled his dream of owning a business when buying the Shamrock Deli. On Friday, 2020, an 18-year-old by the name of Daheem Williams came to the restaurant to inquire about a job. He had come by several times over the previous 3 weeks, and on this night, Jerry had informed him that he had not made a decision and he should just follow up again. Moments later, Daheem stole the tip jar from the counter and ran off. Jerry chased after him and caught up to him. Employees arrived at the scene where they had wrestled each other. Daheem was holding a 4 to 5 inch blade and Jerry's neck was bleeding from a stab wound.
911, where is your emergency?
Yes, someone just got stabbed in the neck at the corner of Heather Ave and Cuthbert Boulevard. I need an ambulance.
Heather and Cuthbert?
Heather Ave and Cuthbert.
Do you know who did it or no?
No, I got concussion blood. No! I'm calling 911 right now.
Did you get a description of the person who did it or no?
Yes, the black guy. He's covered his neck. He's stabbed in the neck bad, man. I need an ambulance.
No, I already got him dispatched out. I'm saying, did you see the person that did it? Yes or no?
Just stay with me, Joe. Stay with me.
Sir.
Stay with me. What? I'm holding his neck, dude. Jerry, you with me? Jerry, you with me?
Sir.
Jerry, you with me?
Can anyone get a clean towel or cloth to apply pressure where he's bleeding from?
All
right. Is the person who stabbed him there? Yes or no?
No, he's gone. He ran.
Did you get a description of him or no?
Yeah, he's a black guy, wearing a black coat, riding an orange bicycle. He's stabbed in the neck. Here, take my phone, call 911. You talk to 911. Come here. My phone, take my neck.
Sir, there are helps on the way out there, okay? Just apply pressure, okay? Just keep applying pressure.
They're on, 911's on there. Hello.
Hello. Tell him to keep applying pressure.
Keep applying pressure. Keep applying pressure.
Okay. Is he in a house or are you outside of a house?
Say again?
Are you inside or outside?
We're outside on the corner of Heather and Cuthbert, across from the Shamrock Deli. Come on.
Okay. Just tell him to keep applying pressure, okay? If it becomes soaked in blood, add more to what's already there. What is your name, sir? Do you know the person or no?
No, I don't. We just pulled over. Oh, my God.
Okay.
All right, is he blinking? Black guy driving an orange bicycle wearing a hoodie. He's shorter than you.
I hear them there. Are they there?
Yeah, they're pulling up now. Hurry up. No. Okay, they're here.
All right. Thank you. Let them take over, okay?
The authorities received other 911 calls as well. One particular caller believed that Jerry had been hit by a car. The authorities arrived at the deli at approximately 4:50 p.m. They took Jerry to Cooper University Hospital where he died soon after. An autopsy found that he had 11 stab wounds. 2 of these were in his liver and 1 was in his neck. Daheem was arrested at his home in Lindenwood. He was charged with murder, unlawful possession of a weapon, and possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose. He was silent through the court proceedings, save for the 2 instances where he responded yes to the judge's questions. He had decided to forego his right to ask for a pretrial release. Although authorities did not detail their evidence in court, case documents were later retrieved from the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. They revealed that the detectives had surveillance video, eyewitness accounts, and a fingerprint match implicating Daheem in the murder. A worker at the deli said the tip jar contained no more than $20, which Jerry would have given to Daheem if Daheem would have just asked for it. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this video, and I hope you're staying safe out there in these crazy times. I want to give a shout out to all my new patrons helping support what I do here. YouTube gets a little bit crazy with this kind of content, so those of you coming over to Patron and becoming channel members, it's really helping us keep this content coming out, so I know I really appreciate it, and I know a lot of the community does as well, so big shout out to you. I will catch you guys in the next video. And just remember, it's always scarier if it's true.